This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. I want to talk more about the smart cities. I've obviously been covering it for years. They are the enslavement cities. You're currently living in one if you have a home that has an Alexa and things like that without realizing it. But this is just, well, it's that on steroids pretty much. It has everything to do with the way China lives. It has everything to do with being monitored and tracked 24/7. Now, a lot of people out there go, I don't care if the government follows what I say. It doesn't matter. Okay, do you care about having electricity, running water, being able to shower when you want? Well, if you do, these things will affect you, whether you're a Republican or a liberal. Now, what's happened over the years is that the Democrats have turned communist, right? And the New World Order that we always have all tried to expose over the years is actually now called the liberal world order, out of their own mouths. If you haven't heard, they've talked about a liberal world order. Listen for yourself.
Every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people died, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
Well, what do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is just not sustainable.
This is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
But the greatest threat on this front springs from the distinct illiberal and external actors who equate their success with fracturing the liberal international order.
Okay, so you talk about a liberal world order. So any liberal who is okay with what's going on has completely lost it in a sense, because they think that this is about their feelings and about caring about people, and it has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with global enslavement. And I want to show you and start with this clip, if you haven't seen it, that happened out in California at a Nordstrom's. There's this new things called flash mobs. Remember they used to do those flash dances? I guess it was a precursor to prepare people subconsciously for this, where they used to show up at a mall and they would just all start dancing. It was extremely cool. And well, now we have groups that are just ransacking stores, and they aren't held accountable. They aren't arrested. Nothing goes on. The police don't even show up for any of this stuff because, of course, in democratic states, this is being allowed. And why is it being allowed? Not because, well, their skin color or anything, or they're giving them a second chance. It's being allowed because they need to destroy cities. They have to destroy cities to bring in smart cities. They can't just transform it, with the infrastructure that's in place. So take a look at what happened in California. Look at this horror show.
Developing news out of Canoga Park tonight after a flash mob of thieves smashed display cases and stole thousands of dollars in merchandise from Nordstrom's. And, of course, all of it was caught on camera.
KTLA's Jennifer McGraw live at the Westfield Mall in Canoga Park with the details on that. Jen?
Sandy and Rick, this was a Saturday afternoon. The mall was packed. Tons of employees, obviously, and shoppers in the store. And that's when I'm told by police that more than 30 people rushed into the store and started ripping apart displays. And, of course, he was caught on camera. Another flash mob robbery, this one erupting at the Nordstrom department store as more than a dozen people, masked and hooded, were seen stealing high-end handbags. Some even dragging purses chained to the display case nearly out the door. Shoppers stood stunned as each and every one of these thieves got away, and with thousands of dollars in merchandise. Police say the security was overwhelmed after being hit with a chemical spray. People equally as shocked by the video.
Oh my God. This is just ludicrous. I'm disgusted. I can't believe we're allowing this day in, day out. I like to come here, and seeing this, it makes me not want to come here.
And it's happened before. Back in 2021, 5 or so people robbed the same Nordstrom, a smash and grab, using a spray as well, which caused the area to be evacuated. Police made several arrests, then busting an organized crime spree involved with that robbery and several others across the Southland. While many got away with thousands of loot this weekend, the investigation continues. But either way, shoppers say they're frustrated and more should be done to crack down on these crimes.
But it's happening everywhere. It's just really, really shameful that we're allowing this as a society and as a country and our state. We need to do something.
Mayor Karen Bass also issuing a statement tonight saying these crimes will not be tolerated and these people who did this should be held accountable. Also, LAPD is saying that those thieves took off with $60,000 to $100,000 this afternoon.
So that's just a day in California these days, right? Whether it's San Francisco or wherever else. Now, one of the things that we're seeing to bring in smart cities is obviously what we just saw in Maui, right? They could take that approach, or they could just burn the town to the ground because it's not working when they're trying to price out small business owners, which is what they've tried to do, or buy them out. They tried to buy them out. They tried to price them out, whether it's inflation or taxes, et cetera, and the people wouldn't go anywhere. Well, they had blueprints and plans for what they want to put in there, so they used a different method, right? And they don't care about your life. People out there are like, they would never do that. They couldn't care less. They look at you no different than the way you look at eating a hamburger, okay, or eating a steak. You're sitting there, you're crying over the cow. Okay, they look at us even less than that, even if you're praying over your food and you're appreciative of it. They're not appreciative of us. They'll fry us out as fast as possible. So that's one of the methods they use. The other method to bring in the smart cities that people don't understand is what you're seeing now. And here's a compilation. They're going to not only, do things like that. There's a bunch of things that they're doing, right? They're allowing crime to run amok, number one. They're putting all stores and malls out of business, right? They're putting out malls in California, as you'll see. They're allowing drug use in the streets to run rampant. They're allowing homeless people and other people to assault regular civilians. Look at the compilation of these clips. These are all things that are being done by design. San Francisco used to be one of the richest cities, okay? It's not a coincidence that all of a sudden San Francisco is a cesspool. Oh my goodness, San Francisco, have you been, some people out there have been to San Francisco, like in the last 10 years before this stuff happened, let's say 10 years ago? Looked nothing like this. It was a city under control, in order. Now you could take the packing of the fudge aside. Other than that, it's a pretty nice and clean city. But look at all these things I'm going to show you here. These are all the subliminal things that they're doing, and deliberate things, I should say. They're not subliminal, but if you think about what they're doing and trying to do and put it into perspective, you'll start to understand that it isn't them just going, oh man, we need, the liberals aren't focusing in on the cities. They're deliberately allowing it to happen. And not because they want crime rates up and all this stuff. It's because they want to destroy the infrastructure of the cities so that they can demolish the cities and rebuild the cities. And they need to run out the small business owners. They need to run out the brick and mortars. They need to run everybody out. They need to run out people who are, have money, who live there, who are afraid to stay there. Everybody has to be run out. So this is what it looks like now.
New at 7, people who work at San Francisco's federal building at 7th and Mission are reportedly being advised to work from home because of concerns about crime. The Chronicle reports the Department of Health and Human Services issued a memo last week calling for employees to maximize the use of telework due to conditions around the building. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has also reportedly expressed safety concerns about her staff who work there. The plaza has been known for years as a place where drug use and drug sales are common.
Once a crown jewel for retail shopping, tonight the Westfield San Francisco Center is pulling the plug on its famed downtown mall. The stunning decision to walk away comes as the city struggles with homelessness, an open-air drug market, and the perception of crime. In a statement, Westfield says, given the challenging operating conditions in downtown San Francisco, which have led to declines in sales, occupancy, and foot traffic, we have made the difficult decision to transfer management.
I don't come to San Francisco anymore, let's put it that way. It's scary.
As other cities like Chicago and Portland deal with major retail closures, the mall's demise in San Francisco comes just weeks after Nordstrom announced its exit from the city center. With nearly half of the stores set to soon be vacant, the future of those still operating is unclear as the nearby Gap shutters and Old Navy plans to soon close. Westfield says sales in San Francisco have dropped 35% since 2019, while their mall in neighboring San Jose saw sales increase 66%. City officials say remote work and a decline in tourism have changed the dynamic here. And while statistics show robberies have increased so far this year, other serious crimes are flat or down.
Though recent crime numbers here are mixed, the image of San Francisco has changed, especially as the city deals with the lack of police officers.
Right now, San Francisco is dealing with a level of drug addiction and drug-driven retail theft and problems with street conditions, and we've got to get our arms around that.
Tonight, the retail decline of a major American city as San Francisco pays the price for its struggle over the city's identity. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, San Francisco.
So that's the chaos that they're creating. They're allowing zombies on all sorts of tranks to roam the streets, right? Which would make any normal human not want to roam the streets because nobody would want to be near that. And what's even sicker is the fact that they're enabling these people to just pretty much die in the streets is frightening. But in any other era, obviously, these people would be arrested. They wouldn't be allowed to be in the streets like that. So people need to start asking the questions, why are they allowing it to happen? What do you think they're allowing it to happen because they're, like they're tone deaf? The liberals are so tone deaf that they don't know that this doesn't look good in their cities, while Fox News, and who's obviously fully controlled, is pumping this out. And people are going, what? And the liberals are like, well, we're giving people second chances. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. The reason is to destroy the cities, right? New York City, another perfect example. Do you think they're so tone deaf they don't know and didn't know with the outbreak how many people would pick up their bags and walk out of that city? People are leaving the city in abundance, right? And what else is happening? They're flushing the cities with migrants, okay? And they're putting all the businesses out of business. They're putting all the people in the middle class. They're making them leave these places. There's specific cities that are going to be the beginning of the smart cities. They're the obvious ones. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, right? These are probably the most liberal places in North America. Do you think and Hawaii is one of the most liberal places too in America. It's one of the most liberal voting places, or at least liberal, the majority of people there are liberal. Well, where else were they going to do it? Were they going to do it in Honolulu? Well, they probably will. They will do it in Honolulu. They probably won't even have to destroy the infrastructure there. But my point being is that these are all specifically the major hubs in the United States of America. So they're all not by coincidence being destroyed. They're not allowing crime to run amok because they love it, because they think that it's a good time, because they want these people to terrorize other people. Well, yeah, they do want them to terrorize other people, but they want them to terrorize them so that they get them out, so that they can come in and say, okay, you know what, enough's enough. San Francisco's out of control. Chicago's out of control. We need to do something about it. All the civilians are already gone. All the business owners have already ran. So now we can come in with a bulldozer. We can round up all these people who think that they're going to get away with crimes. Of course, they're not. A lot of these kids, specifically at that Nordstrom's you saw earlier, obviously is like Antifa or whatever. These are, the government is behind a lot of these things, obviously. These people are, look like professional criminals. If you put any of these, Gen Z kids in there in a situation where they can go and rob a store, they probably wouldn't even know where to walk. They probably wouldn't even be able to do it, especially so quickly, because they'd be distracted by their phones. So you can tell that these are all obviously controlled by the government, and then, of course, conveniently filmed so we could all see it. But this makes people do what? Who see it? It makes them not want to go to the stores, which does what? Puts the stores out of business. Makes the people who see it not want to live in the cities anymore. So what do? They pack up their bags and they leave. And then what's the other thing? San Francisco. Oh, you can now work at home. Government officials are so scared to go to work that they don't even want to, to leave their home, that they want them to work from home, right? And again, inside of smart cities, you will work from home. Your office is in your home. You live in a studio apartment. You put a little cubicle in there. That's your office. That's your sleeping space. That's where you drop a deuce. That's how it's going to work. You're going to have a 600-foot, it's no different than a cell. It's a cell with windows where you can look outside at the fake, beautiful, trees that they plant inside of there. And you can't leave, you can't go anywhere, and you only get electricity for X amount of hours. And then it's like what they say in jail cells at night. Lights out? Yeah, lights out. At night, you don't need, and they'll tell you, at night, you don't need energy, right? You don't want to waste the electricity at night. We could all save and conserve. Everyone will be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. They won't realize, oh, what's the difference between this and a cell? Don't they tell you to turn the lights out at night, or they go lights out at night and everything's pitch black? It's the same thing. Just that they're convincing you that you're doing something for the environment and doing something for humanity. It's unbelievable. It's just a massive psychological operation. That's what the climate agenda is. It's a massive enslavement agenda. I've covered it so many times over the years. So if you're new here, go through my archive, join the website where all those videos are. So you can see about smart cities, about the carbon footprint, about the social score. These are all extremely important. They affect your life. You might listen to this and be like, oh, that sounds boring. This is going to affect your life. Do you like being able to go to the bathroom when you want? Do you like to be able to shower when you want? Do you like to be able to visit grandma when you want, or your girlfriend, or go to the bar, or go to the mall? These things will all be affected. This is what is coming. Liberal, conservative, whatever. It's all of us. It's a war between all of us, humanity, and these select elites who all happen to be Satanists, conveniently, because this is the work of the devil. So I don't know how anybody could actually be a liberal, but I guess when you're under such thick mind control, you think things like I'm saying are conspiracy. And then when they even happen, just like the outbreak, they still laugh it off and like they still think it's a conspiracy because they actually believe it still because they're so far gone. It's like having a massive lobotomy. Really, that's what it is. So when we see stuff like the flash mobs going on in California, not only are these things being allowed on purpose, you see a woman on the street, she's like, I can't believe this. This is sickening. She's probably going and voting liberal, even though it doesn't make a difference because your vote don't count. But that just shows you how dumbed down they are. They don't get it. They don't understand why it's being allowed to happen. They need to sit there and go, why are they allowing it to happen? Well, why don't you figure it out? You think they're allowing it to happen because there's a shortage of cops? You think they're allowing it to happen because I mean, what do you think? I don't understand what these people are thinking, right? They're allowing it to happen to destroy, right? It's the most common thing we've heard throughout our lives is what? Divide and conquer. It's a phrase we hear every day, right? And nobody thinks about it. Divide, so what have they done? They're dividing us, right? Order out of chaos is another one, right? They're creating chaos. So to get these smart cities implemented in these states, in these cities, I should say, this is one of the methods they're going to use. They're not just going to convert a city as is, like a cesspool like New York, which, let's be real, has become has always kind of been a bit of a cesspool. This coming from an East Coaster, growing up at least on the East Coast. New York, these places, what do you think they're going to do? Just go put a smart meter in? You know, there's not going to be small businesses in the New World Order, in the smart cities. So they're going to make it so that these people cannot stay. They're going to zone them out. They're going to price them out. They're going to cut their businesses out because they're going to make sure people aren't on the streets anymore. All right, that's part of the outbreak that just occurred. I mean, there's many agendas tied into that. It's very easy to see. So this is the tactic that they're using, and people need to understand why they're doing it. Okay, it's not just about Maui with the fires. There's different ways that they do it. These cities are going to be reconformed. And another thing with the smart cities is that people actually are like, well, you know, all the smart cities are just going to show up in new spots. Well, there's truth to that. We know that they're building smart cities in certain locations out in the middle of deserts, et cetera, et cetera. But they're also going to do this in the regular cities, okay? Because people are there. Not every, I mean, this is very easy to see. So they have to, convert them over. But they have to get people out. They have to start, get rid of the small business owners. Small business owners are not allowed in smart cities. You're not going to have your smart business in there, okay? Your little deli you have, it's not going to be your little deli. You're going to be getting your deli from the Amazon store, okay? This is how this whole thing works and looks. And it's anyone out there that supports it is out of their mind because it's not for the betterment of humanity. It's for the control of humanity, and it's frightening. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless all of you as always and your families.